somewhere in the silence between your thoughts. In the stillness just before dawn. A presence waits. Watching. Listening. Returning. Since the beginning of recorded time, nearly every civilization has whispered of a figure, a teacher, a bringer of truth, a being of light who appears in times of great upheaval. In India, he is Kalki. In Buddhism, he is Maitreya. In Christianity, he is the Christ. In Islam, the Mahdi. In Zoroastrian texts, Saoshyant. And to the esoteric traditions of the West, he is the world teacher. But what if this archetype is not just a prophecy? What if it's a recurring event? A cycle? What if the Christ principle is not a person, but a force, a spiritual frequency that descends when the world teeters on the edge of chaos? And what if they are already among us? Tonight, we peel back the veil of history, myth, and metaphysics. We'll explore the ancient prophecies of the reappearing world teacher. We'll uncover the meaning of the Christ principle as taught by theosophists like Alice A. Bailey, and visionaries like Helena Blavatsky and Benjamin Creme. And we'll ask the forbidden question. Is humanity on the cusp of a spiritual return, or a cosmic awakening? Prepare your inner eye. This is not just a story. It's a signal. And it has already begun. The idea of a returning world teacher is not the invention of any one religion. It is a sacred echo, an archetype embedded in the soul of humanity. It is the myth that refuses to die. Across cultures and centuries, this figure emerges again and again at moments of crisis, when the old structures collapse, when morality wanes, when humanity forgets its own divinity. In the East, the Hindus speak of Kalki, the final avatar of Vishnu, who rides forth on a white horse wielding a blazing sword to cleanse the world of darkness. In Buddhist prophecy, Maitreya, the Buddha of the future, descends when the Dharma is forgotten, to rekindle the flame of truth. In the West, this pattern continues. Christianity's second coming of Christ is not merely the return of a man, but the return of Christ consciousness, a divine presence meant to reawaken the soul of mankind. In Islam, the Mahdi, or guided one, appears to restore justice. In Judaism, the awaited Mashiach brings about the age of peace. But to the esoteric traditions, those whispered paths behind the outer religions, this return is not a one-time event. It is a cyclical descent of divine intelligence, where great beings from higher planes choose to incarnate and guide humanity through evolutionary leaps. One name above all crystallized this teaching in the modern age, Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, founder of the Theosophical Society, who spoke of the Mahatmas, enlightened masters who operate behind the scenes of history. According to her, and later expanded by Alice A. Bailey, these masters form a spiritual hierarchy, guiding the destiny of Earth. At the head of this hierarchy is a being of immense compassion and wisdom, known by many names, but in Theosophy, simply as the Christ. Not as Jesus the man, but as an office, a role, a divine intelligence that can overshadow or embody through various vessels throughout history. Later, Benjamin Creme, a disciple of this lineage, boldly proclaimed that the world teacher has already returned, taking the name Maitreya once again, and awaits the right moment to emerge publicly. But what is this Christ principle? What does it mean to invoke, embody, or be overshadowed by it? To answer this, we must leave prophecy behind and step into initiation. The mistake of history has been to confuse the vessel with the presence. To think the Christ was solely the man Jesus, rather than the cosmic force that moved through him. The Christ principle is not a personality, it is a state of being, a vibrational intelligence that originates from the heart of the sun itself. In esoteric teachings, it is said that this principle is the second aspect of the Trinity, not the Creator, first Logos, not the Holy Spirit, third Logos, but the solar love wisdom that binds and heals all. In Alice A. Bailey's transmissions, said to come from Jwal Kol, a master of wisdom, the Christ is described as the embodiment of the love aspect of divinity. A living bridge between spirit and matter. The Christ principle is the awakening of divine compassion, not as an emotion, but as a power that can shape civilizations. This principle manifests through overshadowing, a process in which an advanced being allows a divine energy to move through them. Jesus, in this view, was the prepared vessel, the Christ, a consciousness that overshadowed him during his ministry. In you, in me, this principle sleeps like fire beneath the ice, waiting for awakening. It stirs when we feel inexplicable compassion for a stranger. We choose peace when anger seduces us. We serve, without needing recognition. The Christ principle begins with awareness, deepens through service, and culminates in sacrifice, not as martyrdom, but as the joyful surrender of the lower self to something far vaster. It is not reserved for saints or mystics. According to the ageless wisdom, humanity as a whole is being prepared to embody this principle en masse. The time of a single avatar is ending. The age of group initiation is dawning. But how does this descent occur? How does this principle enter time, and walk among us again? To answer that, we must turn our eyes to the horizon of our own age, where ancient prophecy collides with the world's unfolding crises. Look around. The world is in turmoil, ecological collapse, social unrest, spiritual emptiness masked by material excess. But beneath the noise, something stirs. A pulse. A signal. A silent rhythm returning to the soul of humanity. In esoteric teachings, this moment was foreseen. Alice A. Bailey, writing under the guidance of the Master Djwhal Khul, declared that the reappearance of the Christ would occur not as a dramatic descent from the clouds, but through a gradual emergence. A rising of spiritual will among humanity. A recognition, first inward, then outward. She wrote in The Reappearance of the Christ, 1948. The Christ has been for 2,000 years the supreme head of the Church invisible, the spiritual hierarchy composed of disciples of all faiths, and he is preparing now to return to public work in the physical world. Benjamin Creme, decades later, would proclaim this was not a metaphor. According to him, the world teacher, Maitreya, holding the Christ office, has already entered the world stage, quietly, anonymously, living in a great modern city since the late 1970s, awaiting the moment humanity is ready to recognize him. Creme claimed that Maitreya's emergence would not be through religious authority, but through inspiration, guiding humanity from behind the scenes. He spoke of a coming event, the day of declaration, when Maitreya would speak telepathically to all humanity simultaneously. Each person would hear the message in their own language. No coercion. Just an offering. But how would we recognize the signs? Look for the anomalies. Unexplained phenomena in the skies, star-like objects, seen and photographed by thousands. The increasing number of young children with wisdom beyond their years, as if remembering something ancient. Global movements for justice, sustainability, and unity, seemingly arising spontaneously across cultures. These, say the mystics, are not coincidences. They are preludes. According to this view, the spiritual hierarchy is preparing to re-externalize, meaning the once hidden masters, long withdrawn from public view, will again begin to walk among us openly, as in the ancient days of Lemuria and Atlantis. But make no mistake, they are not coming to save us. They come because we are finally ready to save ourselves. The Christ principle awakens first in the human heart, and only then can the teacher emerge. So how do we prepare? How can we align ourselves with this descent of divine presence? The answer lies in practice. The return of the world teacher is not merely a prophecy to witness. It is a call to embody. The Christ principle is not waiting in the clouds. It is waiting in you. This awakening does not require robes or rituals, it requires alignment. And like tuning a sacred instrument, your soul must become the vessel through which this frequency may sing. Here are 5 ancient practices, timeless, profound, that open the inner gate. Small blue diamond 1. The silent watcher, cultivate inner stillness. In deep silence, the soul speaks. Begin each day with 5 minutes of intentional stillness. Not to think, but to listen. As Alice A. Bailey wrote, "When the mind is quiet, the soul's voice becomes thunder." This is how the Christ principle begins to stir, not in noise, but in presence. Small Blue Diamond 2. The sacred breath, anchor the flame. The breath is not just air, it is a bridge. Inhalation draws spirit into matter. Exhalation is surrender. Practice rhythmic breathing. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. This equal rhythm mirrors the heartbeat of the cosmos and stills the lower mind. Small Blue Diamond 3. The act of service, activate the heart center. Service is the path of the world teacher. It is not about charity from above, it is about recognizing the divine in another. Each selfless act magnetizes your aura to the Christ principle. Not in grand gestures, but in the quiet choice to love, to help, to forgive. Small Blue Diamond 4. The invocation, speak the higher word. Use the great invocation, given by Alice Bailey as a gift from the spiritual hierarchy. Reciting it daily is a powerful act of planetary service and alignment. From the point of light within the mind of God. Let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. Each line is not just poetry, it is a command, a tuning fork for global transformation. Small Blue Diamond 5. The group soul, connect in consciousness. This new age is not for isolated mystics, but for groups of conscious servers. Find or form a small circle of seekers, and meditate as one soul. Group meditation amplifies your energy field exponentially, making it a beacon for the Christ energy to descend. The world teacher will not descend to earth, until we ascend in vibration. You are not merely a witness to prophecy, you are the ground it is rooted in. The new Christ will not only walk among us, he will walk through us, if we are prepared to receive. And now, one final mystery remains. Who, or what, are they who are coming? They are coming. This phrase echoes through the minds of mystics, visionaries, and silent watchers around the world. But who are they? They are not aliens. They are not saviors. They are not beings of fantasy. They are elders of the human race. The silent watchers. The masters of wisdom. The Christ and his brothers. According to esoteric teachings, particularly Theosophy and the Alice Bailey transmissions, these beings form the spiritual hierarchy of Earth. They have walked this path before us. They have suffered, struggled, transcended, and now, they work from behind the veil of ordinary reality. Some dwell in the high Himalayas. Others in etheric cities invisible to human eyes. Their consciousness spans dimensions. And now, they prepare to step forward once more. This is not science fiction. This is planetary initiation. According to Benjamin Cream, this process of reappearance is already in motion. The masters are returning in coordinated waves, guided by the world teacher. Maitreya, who holds the Christ office. Not to dominate, but to guide. Not to impose, but to inspire. They are coming, he said, because we have called them, silently, through our collective pain, our yearning, and our exhaustion with darkness. But their coming is conditional. The hierarchy does not interfere with free will. They come only when humanity invites them, not through fear, but through awakening. And that awakening begins now, with you, with me, with us. The Christ principle is already descending. It is not a flash of lightning from heaven, but a slow and steady sunrise in the human soul. The future is not written by prophecy, it is carved by conscious evolution. This is the hour when mystic becomes servant, when prophecy becomes practice. They are not just coming to earth, they are coming through those who choose love over fear, unity over division, sacrifice over selfishness. The teacher returns not to speak above us, but to walk among us. And if your heart hears this truth, if your soul stirs with recognition, then you, dear listener, may already be a part of the advance guard. The Christ principle is rising. The world teacher is here. And the world is preparing for initiation. If this message resonates, share it. Meditate upon it. But most importantly, live it. Because they are coming. And perhaps, you are one of them. If this message stirred something ancient in you, if it felt less like learning, and more like remembering, then you are not here by accident. The world is at a turning point. The veils are thinning. The call of the world teacher is not just for mystics or monks. It is for builders of peace, weavers of compassion, and those brave enough to carry light into the dark places. Full Moon, join this living journey. Subscribe to this channel to continue walking the esoteric path. Each video, each teaching, is a key, unlocking what has long slept within you. If you feel called to do more, start by sharing this video with one soul who is ready. You never know who might be waiting to awaken. This is not the end. This is a threshold. The Christ principle is rising. The world teacher walks among us. And the light has chosen its vessels.